the Malign Sorcery box set, a hobby knife or scraper, clippers, and glue. Not this time. Now in this episode, I'm just going to run through the construction of the Purple Sun of Shyish, and it is a push fit kit, so you will not need any glue for this, and I'll show you why. So first of all, crack open that box, put the sprues to one side, leave that shiny book alone. That's it, put it down, and pick up the instructions. Go to the first page, and there you will find some safety tips, some suggested tools, and right in the middle it will say do not glue the components. Very clear on this. Do not glue the components. So once you've taken a moment just to wrap your head around the idea of not gluing your figure together, go back to the instructions and just have a look and familiarise yourself with each stage. If you have a look properly, you'll notice that the first stage is to construct a scaffold. Now the scaffold is the most integral part of the model. It holds all the surface pieces together, and if you're to make any mistakes at this stage, then it will show in the final product with large gaps on the surface and pieces at odd angles. So follow the stages as closely as possible and only clip out the pieces you need for each stage. Once you've clipped those pieces out, use a hobby knife or scraper to remove any excess bits of plastic that stick out from the models, making sure you don't remove the pegs by accident. You'll also know that as a precaution, I shaved just a tiny bit off the end on the side of each peg. This is so I don't accidentally form any air pockets in the sockets when I put the pegs in. But I do not shave too much off because I don't want it to become loose. I want it to still be airtight. Once you've neatened up all those pieces, you can start putting them together. Just make sure that you have them pushed in as far as possible and they are flush. Once the scaffold piece is completed, you can then move on to the next stage, which is your first surface piece. Now, make sure you follow the instructions step by step and only take out the pieces you need for each step, because some of the spikes are quite similar and you don't want to get them mixed up and waste a lot of time trying to figure out which piece goes where. To make it easy, the instructions will have everything labelled with a number or a letter, and those numbers and letters are on the sprues next to the pieces. It's that easy. Once you've cut out the pieces you need, use that hobby knife or scraper to get rid of those excess bits of plastic, making sure you don't shave too much off, otherwise you'll actually increase the chances of having large gaps. You then put in the spiky bits, and you'll notice with the individual spikes they will be a little bit harder to press in. It's because the peg underneath is at a slight angle, so they don't just fall out once you put them in. If you mind the innuendos that follow, you will need to give it a really good squeeze as it is very tight, so you need to push it a lot and push it hard. Once you're satisfied that it is flush, you could then pick up the scaffold piece again and find the pegs that have the same letters as the sockets underneath the surface piece. Once you've located them, you press them together, making sure that they are as flush as possible. You will notice this as the edges of the sockets will start to pale. This means it's become airtight, and that's perfect. It means it's not going to fall out. Right, so we're just going to fast forward the rest of the stages, as once you've done one, it's all very similar. There are a couple of pieces that do have a more curved set of spikes that need to go in. This will just need a bit more flexing of the main surface piece, and you will find that it will become flush. Now you will notice there will be some gaps between the surface pieces as you're building it. Don't worry about this, as the gaps will close once you fit all the pieces together. Now this kit has been designed with a very complicated piece of software, and a lot of engineering has gone into it. So all of the pieces are made to fit as tightly and as closely as possible. But saying that, it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. There will be the smallest of gaps, but luckily, once painted, it'll be barely noticeable if you do all the stages correctly. Alternatively, if you are a perfectionist, you can use some liquid green stuff and just fill in the gaps. So as we fast forward through the surface piece stages, just so you get a good idea of what it will look like as you put it together, I'm going to use this opportunity for a bit of self-promotion. So if you like this video so far, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. It will all help the channel grow. At the moment I'm working full-time, and I'd love to make this passion my full-time job. So everything will help. I also do some live bits on Twitch, and I'll put the links in the description below. You can also follow me on social media, and those details will be at the end of the video and in the descriptions below. Now as you start to put the final pieces together, you'll see that it's really coming together nicely. So make sure that all the pieces are squeezed together nice and tight, and the gaps are minimized as much as possible. Once you've done that, put the base pieces together. They do need a bit of flexing, but that's not an issue, it will go flush. Then put the Purple Sun onto the base, and once it's fit snug, you'll notice that it is very secure. You can even hold it upside down and it will not fall out. And there you have it, your Purple Sun first push kit without any glue. Well done. That easy.